Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a nice day today, and I hope you're having a good, well, it's the end of the week today, isn't it? Because it's a bank holiday weekend. But yeah, today I'm due to be joined by Jake Sharp, who plays Dewey Finn in the UK and Ireland tour of School of Rock. The production is currently at Curve in Leicester, and then it is going to Royal and Derngate in Northampton next week, and then it's touring around the country. So I look forward to chatting to Jake. If you've got any questions during this, please do put them in the question box or just type them in the chat. And yeah, just going to wait for a few people to join and wait for obviously Jake to hopefully come on. Hoping technology works well, because you never know with these things. But yeah, if you've not seen School of Rock, it is a fantastic production. I got to go to the press night at Curve on Monday this week, and it was fantastic. So that was brilliant. The kids are mental. I don't know how they're that good. They are generally astonishingly good. Right, Jake is here. Let me join him in.
Hello there.
Hello.
How are we doing?
I'm not too bad, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Sorry, I'm just trying to find somewhere to angle it as I'm in not in my dressing room. I'm in Becky Luck's.
Oh, that's all right.
Maybe that's better. How are we going?
Glorious. How are you? You just come off the show, or?
Yeah, just finished. Just done a matinee now. Yeah, so all good. Yeah, it's a good one.
Glorious. Well, as I said, I don't know if you heard me waffling at the start, but I came on Monday. Brilliant.
Yeah, you enjoy?
Superb. Yeah, I've seen it twice because I saw it in London, and you're the only Dewey I've seen. So,
Really?
so I don't believe anyone else plays it. So,
No, well, no, nor do I. So that's good.
Right. But can I get you to start just by telling anyone watching a little bit about the show and your character?
Yeah, so it's School of Rock is it's based on the movie, and it's basically about Dewey Finn, who is my character, who is a kind of failing rock star, a bit of a kind of down and out, kind of a bit of a loser, you might say, who has been like kicked out of his band, can't afford to pay the rent, and he intercepts a phone call from his best friend Ned Schneebly, who is a teacher, and pretends to be Ned to go into this like really prestigious school and basically try to get some cash in hand and earn some money, and realizes these kids that are there are fantastic musicians in like a classical way, and he teaches them to be like rock gods.
Yes. And what kind of attracted you to the part in the first place?
I mean, I think it's pretty iconic part, and it's a pretty fantastic, Jack Black I'm a big fan of, and he's always been someone that I think is kind of just he's just the best. I love him. But when I heard it was going to be a musical, I just think it's just such a kind of massive energy, like energetic, but like he's just so confident in everything that he does, and has such a kind of a bravado and a childlike energy and everything, and they're just all the things that are the most fun to play on stage. So actually he's like a real dream character. You can be a bit messy, you can be a bit sweaty and untidy, and kind of give everything that you want to give, and try different things, and just basically be the energy of a child, and that is, that's what everyone wants to be able to do, really. So I'm very lucky.
Where do you kind of get that? Where do you keep the stamina? Because I was like, when you watch it on Monday, you're non-stop, are you? Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really lots of pasta, lots of sleep, lots of water. I don't know where it comes from. I mean, the thing that I can only think is that the kids are. I heard you mention just before, like, they're phenomenal. They're so fantastic, but they're also, because they're kids, they've got like an unlimited amount of energy and an unlimited amount of like positivity and everything. So you have to match them as the Dewey. If you don't, you look out of place, you know. So actually, you have no kind of, there's no option to not be fully energized, you know, to not be that level. They get you there, and they inspire you there. And on the days when you're tired, they're the ones who, you know, get you through. And yeah, so it's kind of on them really.
And as you say, like you're working with 3 teams of kids, and I guess that kind of, as you say, keeps you on your toes kind of all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they are really. It does keep you on your toes, but in a way, like it's not like. You know, I think the old adage of being like, don't work with kids and all that, you know, and I think is just not, it's just not true in this circumstance. You know, they keep you on your toes, but only because they're so kind of up for play, and they have no kind of fear of failure, or they have no any inhibitions when it comes to the show or to being on stage or anything. So actually, that in itself is really kind of inspiring. But also because there's 3 teams, like you say, it just changes all the time. Every night's different. There's always different combinations. There's actually 4 teams of band kids, so there's always a different combination on stage, and that just keeps it really fresh. And maybe you have different things that you do with different kids, or different names that you call them, or whatever, you know. And so it makes the whole thing, every show does feel like a complete kind of thing of its own, rather than just repeating the same show.
Yeah, which is exciting. And obviously you played it, kind of alternated it in the West End before when I coming onto the tour. And is that kind of giving you more of a chance to develop your own kind of character?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think when you're the alternate, you have, especially initially, you know, you have the kind of, the alternate is a different thing when you're with Dewey, because you do 3 shows a week, so you're always on. And so it's not like in a lot of shows where you just get to do 1 show a week, or you're standby and you just have to go on and kind of make sure it's exactly the same and that no one really notices that you've been on. But the thing with Dewey is that you do get to still make it your own, because you are doing so many shows. But I do think that since we've been doing the tour, you know, being able to just go and do a full rehearsal process at the beginning, I never got that previously as the alternate. You know, you're kind of like learning it on the job, and being able to have a few moments where you can really kind of establish moments that you think will work, or that you didn't really ever get before, or and so therefore you get a different relationship with the kids, and because you do more shows, I think you have a kind of a stronger relationship with the kids in the show. And yeah, it's nice. I mean, it's something that I've really enjoyed, moving up and being kind of like top dog. I quite like that. I like it, the fact that you can kind of really have put your stamp on it.
Yeah, and as you've already alluded to, that Jack Black's obviously iconic for the role. Is there kind of a pressure for yourself, do you think, playing it, kind of people almost come in expecting that?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's a funny one, because I never felt it ever in the West End. I feel it a bit more on the tour, and I think that it might be because you know, I don't know, maybe people come to see the show, there's, you know, when you're on tour, that didn't necessarily want to come all the way down to the West End, or couldn't really, you know, I mean, it's financially, it's ridiculous to try and get down to the West End. It's extortionate. And so yeah, I do feel it a little bit more now. I've never really given it any thought of how to be like Jack Black. I think he is so iconic that if you're saying some of those really famous lines in an American accent, and you've got messy hair like me and you're a big build, then you're instantly going to get compared to Jack Black. And people are just looking for that. And if they are, then that's fine. But I think I always just hope that, you know, most of the time, you know, that I've been told afterwards that, you know, maybe the first 30 seconds will be kind of like, which one's Jack Black? Oh, that's Jack Black. That's blah, blah. And then you just kind of forget about it and you just go with it, because it is a slightly different thing than the movie. It's a longer story, and you see a bit more kind of background on especially on the kids and their home lives. So therefore, I think it's got a little bit more heart, and you see a bit more of a kind of connection with him, with Dewey and the kids. So hopefully people don't miss Jack Black, but also, you know, I can't do anything about that. Sorry if they do. I wish I was Jack Black. I would love his bank account very much.
Yeah, but no, I'd say you're equally as brilliant, if not better, because you play it so well. But how do you go about then getting yourself into character before a performance?
One of the things that I love so much about this character is that I'm quite worryingly similar to him. So all the times that people are like, kind of just like, oh, he's a bit of a messy kind of, he's a bit overweight, and he's a bit of a child, and he likes these things, and he's kind of stuck in his way, and he has like a passion for music, but doesn't really like clean his room. And I have to fight a lot of those things, because that is me at my heart. So actually trying to get into character isn't, it's never been a real problem. It's just, it almost feels like a side of me that I really enjoy being able to release, because he can say what he wants, do he? He's not really got a fear. But I do have to get up for the show, because the energy is high, and so I have a playlist that I kind of put on, a bit of rock music, and have a little dance around in the dressing room with Alex, who's the alternate, Alex Tompkins, and we'll just trying to get something going, and then a small physical warm-up, we're good to go.
Yeah. And do you kind of have a favourite moment within the show?
I have a couple, really. I mean, I always really love You're in the Band. I feel like the whole, which is the first time that Dewey kind of teaches the kids, introducing them to rock music and introducing them to playing rock instruments rather than kind of more classical instruments. I just feel like the room, the whole auditorium, everything kind of changes, because that is the real unique selling point of the show, is the instruments. And I feel like that is the bit where you can feel everyone just sit up that little bit taller. And I also really love Where Did the Rock Go? Because I think it's a beautiful song, and it's also just so nice to be able to sit on stage. And that's the bit where I don't really have to do anything. I'm not carrying it. I'm not leading it, and just let the Rosalie, so Rebecca Locke, just being able to sit there and watch from the best seat in the house. That's great. And then obviously the end, Teacher's Pet, when we're playing live, because everything that you hear at that moment is just us live, and that's just the 5 of us playing the instruments, and the rest of the kids, singing and rocking out, and that is. I still have to pinch myself and remember that is actually genuinely real.
Yeah. Well, it's generally brilliant. I'm going to throw a question from, I don't know if you'll be, can you read, I don't know if you can read that on there. If not, I can read it to you.
Do the kids who are in the show go to school, or do they have a private tutor? Yeah, so because they kind of rotate. So like a group of kids, so say, for example, this week, the kids that were in Leicester, they won't do next week, so they'll all go back to school for a week, some of them for 2 weeks, but while they're here, they have homework. I think they have tutors. They get sent homework for the week, and they have to do it all. So like on an evening show, I mean, I have to apologize sometimes, because I will have not a moan at them, but I'll be like, come on guys, why are you so tired? And they'll be like, oh, because we've been doing homework all day. Or as it was in the West End, and they were like, oh, we've just done our SATs today, and I've been literally just sat in my pants in bed all day, so it's not exactly the same thing. So yeah, I don't know how they do it. They're machines. They're going to rule the world when this is finished.
Amazing. There's another one for you. What is the funniest thing to happen on stage?
There's some pretty funny things that have happened that I'm not really allowed to tell. But maybe one day. There's been the odd accident happened, which is quite funny. I don't know. Funniest thing. What is the funniest thing that's happened? They're all feel pretty bad. There's just so many little ones with the kids, so many things that happen on a kind of regular basis. Like today, we've just done this matinee, and you've got kids just in the audience really, really screaming and singing along. And we had a kid the other week that just felt it. They were watching. It was like they were watching a film. So everything I said, they answered really loud, and that was very funny, because we couldn't control our. The chair breaking in Newcastle is the funniest thing that's happened on stage. Well remembered. I didn't want to say it because it was embarrassing, but I went to sit on the chair, and the entire thing snapped and collapsed. God. That was very funny. But yeah, sorry, there's some that I'm not allowed to say.
No, there you go. What has been your favourite venue so far?
Edinburgh was beautiful. I think it's the one that I've always wanted to play, because it's just a beautiful, big space. We had a great time in Manchester. Audiences were fantastic in Manchester, and just had a really nice kind of time. I really enjoyed Belfast as a city, because I've never been there, and it was just super cool. Would love to go back. Yeah, and then on a personal note, places like Wolverhampton Grand and that, although it's not always you know, everyone's kind of favourite. For me, it's like my hometown, and so that was really nice. That was a real special one. Sorry if I've not said your
That's right. I'll let Curve off because you're there now. So.
Oh yeah, I haven't finished Curve, so I can't say anything yet.
No. Have you met anyone famous during the run?
Yeah, we did in the West End more. We don't seem to meet as many now. I think we're on the back of the pandemic, aren't we? So
yeah, true.
there's still a kind of thing of not really. We don't really meet many, even people who've been to see the show or anything. But when we were in the West End, there was a few cool ones. There was like Jessica Alba, the actress. There's a few big footballers like Jordan Henderson and like the Liverpool captain and that. They all came to see it, and a few big Instagram people that I'm useless. I have no idea, but everyone was very excited about that. But yeah, some cool ones, some really cool for me, some big footballers and like and some big kind of musicians and that I've come to see, and like Will Young and that, and they're all cool. You know, it's really nice. It was pretty cool. Jessica Alba, sorry, was intense. That was insane. Like Olivia Wilde and your man from what's it called? Jason Sudeikis. What's it called? The football one.
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. Yeah, he was there.
Oh.
That was really cool place to be.
That is amazing. What have we got else for you? Do you ever forget the kids' names? As there were so many.
Yes. Yeah, especially at the beginning. Now I feel like I know them, you know, like the back of my hand, but because they switch, and because we're on the schedule that we have is pretty intense, you know, and so you're just kind of like in one city and then you're in the other side of the UK the next week and you've got a whole different group of kids. Sometimes you look at them and for a moment you're like, what's your name? But yes. But it's always there. I always fear about forgetting them at the end in the battles when we have to say them. Occasionally, if we ask, we have like a little cheat sheet that they put at the back, just as a backup in case you do forget. But normally, if you do have a moment where you almost stumble, someone in the rest of the cast will scream it very loud for you so that you can remember. But yeah, I'm going to touch wood now because you've just tempted fate.
That is very true. You'll do it tonight. I work with children as well, and it's a nightmare trying to remember like 20 kids' names. So I don't know how you do it with multiple.
It's impossible. Oh, Bristol. Yeah, Bristol was a very cool venue as well. Sorry, I've just seen that come up. That was a city that I would move to. I loved it.
I love Bristol. There you go. Do you have a favourite line within the show?
What would be my favourite line? I read from Dewey's point of view. I love one of the first lines. It's one of my favourite lines. I think it's one of the things that sums him up the most. Where it's like, "I'm so sick and tired of being the guy that everyone comes to for the money that I owe them." I think is a really brilliant Dewey Finn line. It's dramatic and it's theatrical and it doesn't quite make sense, and it also shows how what he's like as a character. And then there's all the classic iconic ones like "You're Czeching, I hate you" and all that are great. And then I really just love, "Hi, we're the School of Rock," and this song was written by our lead guitarist Zach Meehan, just because I just always wanted to say it before I did the show. That was what I always wanted to say. So that was very cool. It's cool to say it now.
Amazing. And going back to your school days, did you have a favourite subject at school?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do anything that was creative really. I did a bit of art, but I didn't do any drama. I didn't really do any music or anything. I don't know why I didn't. I used to love like psychology and that when I did that at A level, and I loved it. All of that sort of side, and I think that maybe that's kind of helped a little bit. But yeah, apart from that, I mean, I used to love PE. I was one of those that actually did quite enjoy PE, apart from running. But like sports, I enjoyed. But yeah, I mean, going back, if I could go back now, I always think, I mean, you must think, but I would love to go back to school. I'd love to have free education again. It was excellent.
Yes, it would be good. Do you miss the West End casts, apparently?
No, Calypso, I don't miss you. I don't miss you at all. Yeah, of course, yeah, miss everyone. Yeah, it's weird. It's nice when like some of the kids come, especially because they come and see the show now and they're all like 6 foot and you just kind of can't recognize. Yeah, it's nuts. But yeah, I'm obviously, you miss everyone that you've done it with. It's we've done the show with. It's funny because when we finished the West End, there was everyone kind of came back. Every kid that had ever done it came back, and they did this whole thing. I think it's on YouTube now, and that was nuts, because you could just see just how many unbelievable talented people have been part of this show. It's such a high turnaround. It's brilliant.
Amazing. In all my interviews, I throw some more I call them personal questions, or quick fire, depending on what you want to call them.
Okay.
The first one is, what was the first piece of theatre you can remember seeing in your lifetime?
Noises Off, a play. It's like a farce play, and we went to see it at the Rep, I think, in Birmingham. And I was a really shy kid, really shy, and went to see it. And I even then blew my mind. And since then, I would love to be in it. Real proper farce.
Yeah. And do you have a kind of favourite piece of theatre that you've seen in your life so far?
Jerusalem, the play, is the best. I've got tickets for it soon. I'm already crying at the thought of it. It's the best thing I've ever seen. It's amazing. I also think that of recent times, I mean, that was a few years ago, but Amelie, I thought was unbelievable.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I listen to it. It blows my mind. I very rarely listen to a musical soundtrack, and that was like, I think it's unbelievable. And Hadestown, I saw on Broadway, and Hadestown did the same. I was like, what is going on? How is this not the biggest thing in the world, you know?
Yeah. Well, solid choices. What is your favourite album to listen to?
I listen to I have to say it's Chris Stapleton. I listen to it every single day to get warm vocally. So I sing along to him every single day. So Chris Stapleton, Traveller is, I just, honestly, I've listened to it before every show since I started doing this in 2017. So it has to be that.
Amazing. This doesn't have to be career-based. It can be anything. But what would be one thing on your bucket list?
I mean, career-wise, there's tons. I want to be in movies and stuff. I want to be the big star. But bucket list, I would love to get a camper van and go around New Zealand. I would love to go around Iceland. I'd like to travel quite a lot. They're kind of the things that I would just like to spend a few weeks, months, whatever, just with no worries like that. That'd be the way. That'd be amazing. But not doing anything extreme sporty. I'm not one for that.
No. And if you weren't into performing, what do you think you'd be doing with your life other than traveling, I suppose?
I mean, I was a teacher before this, so I'd probably still be a teacher. Although I don't think I'd be able to cope with it. I don't know how people do it all the time. It's exhausting. I mean, I'd like to think that I would be a musician. I would love to be. I wish in hindsight I'd spent more time I would love to be in a band. That would have been the best thing ever.
There's still time. Still time.
Still time.
That's a good question. Do you have to do 2 warm-ups in a day where there's 2 shows? And then...
Well, I don't actually ever do 2 shows. So that's why we have an alternate. So because it's just because do is too tiring and too dehydrating. So no, I don't ever do that. But I would probably only do 1 show, just get warm for the 1 show, and then carry on and maybe just do a little tiny something before the second show. But yeah, no, I do a big warm up, and then I do a big cool down at the end of the show as well, just to make sure that my voice is kind of reset.
Amazing. This is a deeper, bigger question for you. Simply, what does theatre mean to you?
Theatre mean to me. I mean, it's just. I think it's like the best art form, because it's kind of the only thing as well as live music. It's where everyone is part of it. So the audience, it's all a collaboration with everyone. Like, when you go and see a film, you're just kind of just watching that film. But when you are in watching the theatre, or if you're in something at the theatre, it all relies on the audience. It relies on, all of the crew, everything. There's so many people involved, and it becomes a collaboration between the actors and the audience. And especially if it's comedy, I think that is just it's the only kind of time where I think you feel that every single person is equally as involved and is invested, and that's why when you walk out of the theatre as an audience member, you can really feel like you've been through something. You can be tired, you can be exhausted from it, because you have really you've really kind of embraced it and become part of it. And I think that, so therefore, like, theatre is everything.
Brilliantly answered. What is the best piece of advice you've ever been given?
What would it be? When we were at drama school, and it's actually something that I always say to younger actors, but someone just said, be talented, do all the stuff that you need to do all the work and all that, but above it all, just be nice. And I'm just a massive believer in it. And the only times where I ever feel like I've really let myself down won't be if I've like not been the best in the show or whatever. It's if I've like been not nice, if I've snapped at someone or whatever. And actually, I totally agree with that piece of advice, and it is something that I always share. I just think when you're working in this environment, especially in theatre, you work in this environment, you're in each other's pockets 24/7, and you see each other every day for a whole year, and it's really tiring. And if you're not a nice person, like this cast, this crew, everyone's really nice, and if they weren't, I mean, they've been picked for that reason, they've been picked, and for their talent, obviously. But when you work with someone who isn't nice, it's just so boring, and you just know that you're not going to work with them again. You wouldn't work with them. So actually, it just the best thing ever. Just be nice. I mean, I'm sure that there'll be people who will say that I'm not, so I'm kind of gonna have to go back over.
I'm sure they won't. I'm sure that.
Yeah.
Daniel asks, are you surprised by some of the rude stuff in the script? Because some of the kids being young, I suppose, in a way, and how far can you push it, I suppose?
Yeah, I think I don't think that it's. I mean, for me, it's never kind of. It never goes too far. I guess it's slightly rude occasionally, but yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think I never feel uncomfortable with it. I'm sure that there are some people that have said that it's a bit too rude for their kids or whatever, but it's all done in such a. The beautiful thing about this show is it just champions everyone. So it's a real kind of celebration of everyone. So if it is rude, it's never really at anyone's expense. It's not ever cruel. Although Dewey is quite cruel to the kids at the beginning, it's all done, hopefully through a guise of like love and that by the end. So when he is kind of rude to them, I think I like to think, and I hope that it doesn't come across as anything, because it is, like I say, the best thing about the whole show is that it just champions and celebrates everyone, people who don't necessarily always get championed in popular culture, or people that don't get celebrated, and it kind of allows all of those, even like the kid like Lawrence, who's not very confident, and Dewey kind of takes the mick out of him a little bit, and he says he doesn't want to be in the band because he's not very cool, but he is cool. He's super cool, especially in that bit where he picks up his when he gets on the keyboard, and I like that. So hopefully all the rude bits are just there to set up for the nice lesson learning.
Very good. Here's another good question. Do you have any audition tips?
Do the work. Put a lot of work in, as much as you can early on. In my opinion, is and I have to tell myself this, is just to do as much work on it as early as you can, because the more times you can sleep on it, the more times you can have another look at it. You're basically just a much better actor when you know it, when it's really in your bones. So if you can get to that point, do and then when you go in there, just, someone told me this before, that they were like, an actor is not they're not a professional actor when they're at work, they're a professional auditioner. And I think that's a very cool way of looking at it, and that your job is to audition. And although it's horrible and no one likes it, and even people who say they like it, I don't believe them, it's stressful, and you're probably 95% of the time you're going to get rejected, but you've got to go in there and it might be the only time you ever get to do that material. So it's really good material. You just go in there and enjoy it, and do it the best you possibly can, and do it how you think it should be done, because you might never get that chance again to do that stuff. So but just try to not take it personally. The amount of times you don't get work and you take it personally, and then you find out like 3 years later that it's because you were 6 inches too tall, or the person that they really liked for another part got the same hair as you, or anything. It's completely just not, you can't do anything about it, So yeah, just try and enjoy it. Yeah.
It's been similar questions asking who inspires you or who are your role models.
My role models. There's plenty of actors that I think that are just like unbelievable actors. I don't know much about them. I'm not really the type of person that finds out much about them. You know, like Andrew Scott, I love. I think he's the best actor. I think he's unbelievable. Olivia Colman. Olivia Colman, I see a bit more of in the public eye, and I have just always. I think she's just amazing. There's just something about her that's just so likable, and I like the idea of, you know, when you see sometimes you see someone, even a sports person or whatever, and you think, oh, I'd like to go out for a drink with them, and I like that. But my brother is, you know, probably my role model. He's my younger brother, and he's been in the musical theatre biz for longer than me, and he is, you know, he's the man. He's so good at it, and he's so talented, and he's so everything else. He has kind of literally spoon-fed me, and like the whole way through, and helped me get to here. So he is, you know, he has to be my role model, really.
Amazing. Do you have any tips on getting an agent?
It's very hard. It's very hard. I mean, it's easier, I think, if you are something. That's when you really want to try and contact them and push. And recording something yourself, you know, there's a big thing at the moment now. Well, at the moment, these days, you know, you could just writing and recording stuff. We've all got a phone. We've all got a camera in our pocket, basically, you know, and just trying to get something recorded and write something with your friends or whatever, and film it and just send it across, and to not be, again, a bit like auditions. I think just to not to take it personally. There might be someone who just looks exactly like you, and you know, on their books, then it's not going to bother writing back to you. Although I personally think they should, because you've gone out of your way. But they're so busy and all of that, you know. So I would just keep reaching out every so often. They're very rarely going to ever sign you if you're just kind of saying, take me on from this photo, unless you're really unusual or really quirky looking or whatever, or they're looking for you exactly your type. I think you're better off sending them, asking for representation or asking for a meeting with something to show, like, hi, I'm in a play above a pub in wherever, or hi, I'm doing this, or I've filmed this recently, or whatever. So that's what I would say, is wait until when you've got something to show them is probably the best time.
Very wise. Do you have a dream role?
Yeah, Beetlejuice. I'd love to be Beetlejuice. I would love to be Beetlejuice. I'm putting it out in the atmosphere. But I mean, my dream role is Dewey Finn, so you know, that's kind of. But yeah, I mean, I always think that the thing with a dream role is that you would just be lovely to not know what it is, you know, because there's like things being written all the time. So like, I just feel like to not know what your dream role is, and then for it to just suddenly get an audition for it, that's where the dream is, you know, to just suddenly kind of go in for an audition and be like, this is it, this is new, and this is me, you know. So that would be cool as well.
That would be cool. And my final question for you today, because I've kept you for half hour, and you're probably really tired.
It's all right.
Is simply, why should anyone watching or anyone who sees this come and see School of Rock?
I mean, I think most people now know about School of Rock. The people that haven't been to see it, I think most of the time people have just been like, oh, I haven't found time to come and see it, and then they come and they absolutely love it. So I would say just kind of just listen to everyone. It's really good. It's really fun. It's super energetic and just positive and inspiring, and it, like I said before, it just champions everyone, and I think after the horrible few years we've had, it's just such a lovely thing for everyone to be champions and everyone to have a place on stage, and you know, a place in this world, and to just be allowed to be who they are, and it really champions all of that. And then on top of that, it's got some fantastic songs, some really funny moments, kids are amazing, and then by the end of it you're in a rock concert. So it's just, why would you not want to see it?
And you are brilliant in it, so everyone
Thank
should
you very much.
get tickets. You're at Cove till Saturday, then I know you're in Northampton next week. So Midlands people, get on it, because
get on it. Yeah, we're running out of time a bit now. We've only got, you know, 9 months. Did I just see Kath come up? Kath, get off.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She was West End. She's really good.
Do you kind of get them all like I suppose that's nice anyway. Like say they're all on like Instagram these days. The kids. Just,
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. You know, it's a bit annoying to see how talented they get, and they get better all the time. You know, that's a bit annoying. But
yeah, I suppose. But
some of us have just plateaued their ability, whereas they just get better and better every week, it seems.
No, never true. But like I say, thank you for your time today, Jake. You're
Thank you.
amazing in the show. And everyone
Thanks
should
for having me.
get some tickets.
Thanks for the questions, guys.
Brilliant. And enjoy the rest of your time here in Leicester. Hope it treats you well. I mean,
Yeah, it's cool here. Really, yeah, big fan.
I don't know if there's Jubilee events on that you can find yourself lost in the next couple of days.
I'm sure there's something. So,
but enjoy. Thank you for your time. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. You assume you've got the evening off now?
yeah. I'm going to go home, see mum and dad. That'll be nice. Yeah.
Happy days. Well, enjoy. And thank you for your time and enjoy the rest of the tour.
Cheers so much. Thanks. Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
Cheers. Take care.
See you later.
Yeah, bye. Amazing. Thank you everyone for watching. Like I say, School of Rock is at Curve this week until Saturday. Tickets are still available and it's Northampton's Royal Gate next week. So like I say, Midlands people, this is your time. Thank you for all your questions, everybody. I'm going to save this live, so anyone wants to watch it again, you can. And thank you, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Take care.